Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are working on 3.1.1. How can I simplify it? Grouping expressions. In previous lessons, you work with expressions, combinations of numbers, variables, and operation symbols that involve either adding integers or multiplying integers. Today, you're going to examine expressions that involve both operations. By the end of this lesson, you'll be expected to be able to answer these target questions. How can the expressions with the same number and operations have different meanings? Does the order in which we do each operation matter? So for 3-1, the important part that I really want to point out to you is this guy right here. This symbol, this stoplight symbol, is used throughout our curriculum to show when a student has made a mistake. So inside this problem, the student has made a mistake. It's a very common mistake. And so I want you to be aware of that, number one, because we're going to be using this curriculum throughout this year. You'll also be using it next year and also in high school. And so it's important for you to be able to know that. The other thing is that we discussed in class that if you get stuck, sometimes a good strategy is to go and look at the next part of the problem. In this case, if you are stuck on this part of the problem and you go down here to this is a mistake. So we don't want to copy that when we see this symbol. We want to be aware. Our job is to notice whatever the issue is, the common mistake that the student made in the problem, and then to be able to fix it. So right here we have Katrina wrote the following set of instructions for Cecil. 4 times 2 5/10 or 2 1/2 plus 1. If Cecil the acrobat follows Katrina's instructions, how far will he go? Draw a diagram of Cecil's movements to show how far he will move. So in our notebook here, we're going to be writing that expression. We're going to be drawing it. So we had 4 groups of 2 5/10 or 2 1/2. I kind of put that guy up in the air. That's a little confusing, isn't it? Let's make it prettier. I've been writing all day today and my handwriting is not super awesome, unfortunately. So we'll put him down there a little bit. Maybe that might be easier to see. Plus 1. So that's what we need to, okay, focus, buddy. There we go. We need to draw Cecil's diagram with that. So I want to remind you the way that we do that is we have arrows. So Cecil is moving to the right because these are positive numbers. There's no negative numbers that would send us back the other direction. So we have 4 groups of 2 5/10. So we're moving to the right 1 time 2 5/10 feet. Another time 2 1/2 feet. 3 groups. And lastly, 4 groups. And then we're going to add our extra foot. Woo, right there. Now we need to figure out how far he went. So 0 to 2 1/2 is 2 1/2. Plus 2 1/2 plus another 2 1/2 is 5. 5 plus another 2 1/2 is 7 1/2. 7 1/2 plus another 2 1/2 is 10. 10 plus 1 is 11. So he went 11 feet.